I'm a sore loser and I hate it. I am not the oop. Oop is you, frigid lollipop. I'm a sore loser and I hate it. Originally posted to our Board Games. Original post January 9th, 2022. Does anyone have any tips for not being such a salty poss when losing hard at games? I am brand new to playing and strategy has never been my strong point. But I can lose games like The Binding of Isaac, Carcassonne, Wingspan, etc. and be graceful and have fun. We recently picked up Scythe and it's fun. But I lose almost every time despite my best attempts. I can feel myself getting heated as soon as the landslide loss begins. And it's so dumb that I get so mad at something meant for fun. I feel like a 3-year-old when it happens. And I've tried to just get over it. But I don't know how to trump it. Is anyone else like this? Any advice? I just want to enjoy board games with my BF. Update. Dunno if anyone will see this. I didn't want to submit a whole new post just to reply to this. But I wanted to say that I tried some of the methods listed in answer comments here. And they've actually helped. Today I lost by 1 turn at Hero Realms. And my BF and I went over what I could have done differently. I really focused on how close I came to beating him. How much better I did this round than in other rounds. And realized that he makes mistakes too. So it's good we check one another when we go for actions. Anytime I felt the salty, but I still lost feeling coming up, I redirected my brain to what I learned. What I'll do differently. What a fun game it was. And then immediately move on to another thought. As many times as I have to. Thanks all who replied with advice in my original post. I am still looking for a therapist. But that's my next goal. Relevant comments. Deleted. You should get in the mindset for the social aspect of hanging out with your friends and not sweating over winning a board game. I have a friend who gets pissy every time he doesn't win. He hates all games he loses at. Needless to say, he's rarely invited out to my game nights now. Oop replied, yeah, I definitely don't want to be that person. I don't usually verbalize it or anything except when my BF and I play alone and we talk it out. I'm aware of how much like a child I feel, am acting after a loss on a strategy game. Trying to stop it. He does have a group he plays with about once a week and sometimes I tag along. And I didn't want to risk bringing down the fun levels of the group. Something that I am worried about. I do feel a little slow because I'm often the last to understand the rules. But most people don't seem to mind. Just need to get a handle on my anger. Thanks. This is my gamer account. A lot of people are saying to play for fun, which is a fine suggestion. But if you're a competitive person and want to be competitive, then here's my suggestion. Look at every game as a learning experience. When you lose, analyze where it went wrong, what you could have done better. Notice things your opponent did that helped them win. Learn and grow. At least for me this has always helped. Oop replied, thank you for this. I'm going to try doing this with the goal to learn the game better. I just need to not take it seriously if I continue to get thumped. Lol. Update November 14th, 2022. It's been nearly a year now. And I'm hoping that reporting back here gives other people useful tips and tricks. To begin with, no, I am not totally cured of my sore loser tendencies. That said, I am much better. What helped me was finding a group that I fit into well. This happened almost entirely by chance. But I love my weekly Magic group. And I'm working on finding a board game group as well. I didn't love the group I had before. This one is small, casual enough that I can ask questions, and typically respectful. I know that some of these guys could grind me into a paste. Some of them regularly join and win tournaments. But these are friendly matches where everything is more or less even. The less competitive nature of the games makes me much more laid back and able to say, hey, maybe next time, when I lose. Although I'm happy to say, I put up much more of a fight these days. I focus on either co-op games or games that aren't terribly competitive when playing with players who can be intense when it comes to winning. My boyfriend tends to edge on the competitive side, so unless we are playing low-stakes games like Wingspan or Azul, we mostly play co-op. We save the more serious stuff for game night where other people can get in on the dynamic and even out the odds. I am better, but not as good of a strategist as he is. I likely never will be. And that's okay, so long as we have fun. This might get me some hate, but I personally avoid games that I know will send me into the salt mines of the lost. I know myself well enough in this regard. And Scythe is definitely on that list. I've played it multiple times to see. Tried various tactics and factions. But I seem as of yet unable to stop focusing on the L instead of what I could do differently next time. There are enough cool, fun games to enjoy that I've decided not to worry about this for now. A no-brainer. But I always try to remember that it's just a game. With enough time, I likely will not remember the particular match. Or it will be a funny memory if I do. There are certain magic cards that I remember from the early days of getting my butt handed to me that make me chuckle now that I know how the dynamic works. And it's definitely a friendly grudge when they are played, but nothing more. Be upfront with whoever you're playing with about your abilities after you know them well enough. Or if it's a new group, just intro yourself at the level you're at. I don't think anyone hates a beginner who shows up with the right attitude. Please don't be the person that concedes every time things don't go your way. Put in an honest effort. Some things that I told my friends included that I'm trying to learn. Not happy with my current playing ability, but really want to get there. And I get frustrated sometimes with my seeming lack of great strategy skills. I'm happy to report that they've all been supportive AF. And knowing that they know about these things makes it a lot easier to focus on my own strategy, instead of the potential loss speeding my way. Lol. I'll stop there with the tips. If you find yourself magically transforming into a massive toddler when you lose board games, it is your job to find out ways to manage it. It's not your fault you are as you are. But if you're unhappy with it, it's your responsibility to fix it if you can. Keep an open mind. As well, is your group a bad fit? Some people don't want to babysit a new player. And that's their right. Find a group that you can have fun with. I doubt my prior game group was trying to get my goat. But because of my own status with myself, I took some of their comments personally and felt unwelcome as a noob. Still, if you just don't get along with a group, try another. Now, if you don't get along with any group, maybe it's time to ask yourself some tough questions. Lol. I doubt very many people slid out of the womb being salty sore losers. I'm no psychologist, but typically something happens along the way that molds you into being a certain way. If you suffer from these issues, it may be worth it to check things out with a therapist. Don't ever think that scrimping on your own health, mental or otherwise, is dumb or a waste of time. Hope everyone is having fun as we move into the holiday season. Have fun, get out there, and enjoy those games. Edit. Couldn't spell. P. Relevant comments. Plastifuchs. Well done. Learning about yourself is always a progress and takes time. So I hope there will be another post in a year or 3 on that. Oop replied. Here's to hoping. I remember searching for ways to enjoy gaming more with the people on my life. And finding posts that actually had useful tips gave me a nice launching point into trying things. That worked for me. This is a repost sub IAM, not the oop. These threads are so nice. It's cool to see someone come for advice. Apply it and then just grow. One other suggestion. This one is more for video games, but it definitely has its place in tabletop games too. Give yourself a different goal than winning. In video games, this can be achievement hunting, doing every side quest, collecting everything, or even just playing the game in a weird way. Like only using a knife in a shooter or only picking flowers to level in an MMO. In Magic the Gathering, the Johnny and Timmy archetypes both do this. Johnny cares about getting out a cool combo and Timmy just wants his awesome creatures to rampage. In a board game? It really depends on the game. But find a side thing to do. In something like Azul, you might focus on only a certain pattern or color. Basically, make your own fun. My mom didn't play card or board games for years because one of her brothers would physically prevent her from leaving the table until she lost to him. It just wasn't fun for her after that. She is in her 60s and she just started enjoying it again. When Oop mentioned feeling slow, I felt that. I'm not a competitive person, but I'm quite insecure about my intelligence, and that can really get at me when I start something. I can handle losing fine as long as I don't feel like I'm embarrassing myself. Wow, this was such an incredible post. I'm like borderline emotional over it because I relate so heavily. My girlfriend's family is extremely into games. Like 2-hour game after dinner whenever I'm over level of into games. Plus her dad and her brother are just on another level. They know all the correct strategies to win. I.e. in this game you need to focus on the coal resource, or this game focus on this type of card. And her brother is a self-identified power gamer. His idea of fun is logically figuring out how to win every game they own. This is his and his dad's hobby, which is impressive and I respect. And I love the whole family. But as you can imagine, playing for fun or without this level of knowledge is soul-crushing. I know going into a game that I will lose by a previously unforeseen amount of points. Sometimes I can deal with this. But sometimes it's been a long day. I'm not in the mood to play a game. And I just get my ass whooped. I think for me it's the social aspect too. Maybe other people don't see it this way. But does this not rank me the worst, or dumbest, among her family? As an outsider trying to fit in, it makes me feel like I don't measure up to their intelligence or strategy levels. Especially since her brother's GF is also good at these games. I too have cried to my girlfriend. I'm a super emotional person. And burst into tears after a game. When we're in private. Because I get so tired of losing. Here and there is fine, but I've never won a game. Anyway, this post is amazing because I've never had this exact advice I needed laid out for me like this. I will be bookmarking. And I recently told my GF I need to step back from their very high-level games for my own sake, and she was supportive. Edited BC. I accidentally made a wall of text. I also avoid games that make me feel this way. Especially because my husband's family is super competitive and they've been playing together forever. Plus I cannot do math in my head in front of people as I panic when someone is going faster than me. My mind goes blank and boom. I'm no longer having any fun at all. I'm glad they're feeling so much better. My husband is so competitive he does not let children win. I'm glad Oop is able to keep it light. TBH, I stopped playing Scythe too. The game takes forever, so when you lose it's very annoying. That said, I used to play Dominion with someone who did tournaments, and in order to make it fun for the both of us he would put extra rules on himself like card restrictions. Some people are just amazing at board games, and TBH, knowing the outcome beforehand just sucks. I think some of the people who were being negative on that post about board game weddings could learn a lot from Oop. As someone who had to quit playing League of Legends for salt-related reasons, I'm proud of Oop for the self-reflection and change. I find that I get very sore about losing sometimes, but it almost always has more to do with whether I had fun during the game or not, rather than whether I won or lost. I stay away from any game that has a zero-sum win-lose dynamic. By that I mean, any game where one person winning always comes at the expense of another player. It feels bad to lose, but it feels worse to feel like you don't have control during the game. I enjoy games like Small World, Wingspan, Carcassonne, Sushi Go, or Cosmic Encounters because, even if someone else is doing better than you can still be making progress on your own strategy. You never feel like someone else is having fun at your expense. Any game where you don't know the winner until everything is counted up at the end gets my vote. My Bill and Phil both are gigantic manbabies when they lose a game. Good lord. It's mind-boggling. Like, why? Why do you have to win a freaking card game? Zero surprise. I've refused to play games with them for years and years now. Because I have children of my own who don't throw tantrums. BTW. I don't need to expose myself, they're utterly exhausting. Childish behavior. Edit. Since some people can't connect the dots. Good for Oop for asking for help. Instead of becoming my Bill and Phil, to where no one will play games with them anymore because no one likes a sore loser. The only game I get genuinely mad to be losing is Monopoly. But it is made to make you mad. One of the big aspects for salt mine players is if a game takes a long time. A game like Scythe can take 1.5 to 2 or even more hours of play. Carcassonne is done in 30 minutes. Tops. If you spend a lot of your time playing a game only to lose at it, when you could have played 2, 3, 4 other games in that same time, it just makes everything feel worse. If you find yourself being salty, pick shorter games. If you lose a game, it's cool. You spend 20 minutes on it, shuffle up and play the next game. I also feel like some games can be very unengaging if you're in a situation where you can't possibly win. Like, what is the point then? I'm just taking up a turn. Also, my partner is the type of person who will take a full 5 minutes to make a decision on his turn. And it makes me want to strangle him. Lol. I specifically think of the game Smash Up. Catan is fun enough when losing because if you're playing with more than one person, there's potential to at least even the odds for longer. That's just my 2 cents anyway. Not sure if anyone else feels the same way. The possibility of winning and strategizing is what makes games fun for me. I actually struggle with a similar thing as the Oop, and it was really nice to read other people's thoughts and what to do. Also saved me time so I don't have to write my own post for now. Grin tears of joy. I legit cried once after losing at Catan lol. I'm generally a good loser, but some days I am more sensitive than others. Clearly tears of joy. I can totally understand this. I can be sore loser with some things too, and I hate it. For me, it's feeling like I'm not understanding certain aspects of the game and I can't do anything without being behind the curve. Then it feels like I have no chance, and therefore, what the hell is the point of playing? Getting stomped on sucks. I'm better at losing if I feel like I put up a good fight. I know exactly why I was a sore loser. Between my mother and bullies at school, any time I lost I would be mercilessly teased about it. That's how you make an anxious perfectionist who gets unreasonably mad when they lose. The cure was my husband. I refused to play Monopoly with him ever again. We have a Star Wars version and he warned me ahead of time what would happen. We've played 3 times. He spends the whole game in jail. I've never seen anything like it. It's hard to feel good about winning when it's like kicking a puppy. Somehow that fixed the feeling of worthless loser when I don't win. I'm a salty sore loser myself. Feels easier sometimes to just play co-op games instead. Never considered asking my therapist about it.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.